Let's be honest, hey, when people talk about South Africa, the conversation can quickly get tangled up in old stories about race and division. It's an easy trap to fall into, because our history is heavy. But if you're living here, on the ground, on this day, the 11th of June, 2025, you know that the real enemy isn't a person with a different skin color, it's not your neighbor. The real enemies are the things that keep everyone, no matter their background, up at night. I'm talking about the big, scary monsters in the room: rampant crime, crippling unemployment, deep-seated inequality, and a government that too often feels like it's ghosting its own people. These are the struggles that unite South Africans in a way nothing else can. These challenges don't check your ID before they mess up your life. They are brutally equal opportunity problems. A pothole doesn't care if you're driving a German sedan or a beat-up bakkie, it's going to wreck your tire either way. Load shedding doesn't pick and choose which suburbs to plunge into darkness. And when you can't find a job, it doesn't matter what language you speak at home. The feeling of hopelessness is universal. This is the shared reality. The daily battle isn't black versus white or Zulu versus Xhosa. It's everyone versus a system that feels broken. A fight for a better life in a country overflowing with potential, but struggling to deliver on its promises. The stories that grab international headlines, like the one about a targeted war on white farmers, often miss the bigger picture. Yes, farm attacks are horrific, and crime is a massive problem in rural areas. But to frame it as a racial genocide is just not the full story. Ask anyone living in the Cape Flats or the townships around Joburg where the highest murder rates are. They'll tell you that violence is a national crisis, not a racial one. It's a narrative that serves political agendas more than it reflects the lived experience of the average South African, who is far more likely to be worried about getting mugged on their way home from work than about some grand, sweeping racial conflict. So, we have to shift our focus. We have to look past the noise and see the real fight. The fight is for safety, for jobs, for a government that works, and for a fair shot at a decent life. This is the battle that truly defines modern South Africa. It's a fight that every single citizen is a part of, whether they're in a high-walled Sandton mansion or a shack in Khayelitsha. Acknowledging this shared struggle is the first step, because you can't defeat an enemy you refuse to correctly identify. And our enemies are not each other, they are the circumstances that are trying to pull us all down together. In South Africa, crime isn't just a news headline, it's a part of your daily planning. It's the reason you check your rearview mirror a little too often when you stop at a robot at night. It's why private security is one of the biggest industries in the country, with more guards than police officers. Think about that for a second. We've essentially privatized our own safety. This isn't a problem for one group, everyone feels it. The fear of a home invasion, a hijacking, or just having your phone snatched is a constant, low-level hum of anxiety for millions. It dictates where you go, what time you come home, and how you live your life. The statistics are just staggering, especially when it comes to violence against women. Our femicide rate is 5 times the global average. That is a terrifying reality for half our population. And while the politicians argue, the numbers keep climbing. In the townships, where policing is often scarce and resources are thin, the situation is even more dire. This is where the highest murder rates are found. So when you hear stories focusing only on certain communities, remember the people in places like Nyanga in Cape Town who face a daily war zone that rarely makes international news. Crime is a national trauma, and it's wounding everyone, leaving scars on our collective psyche. Then there's the economic grind. The official unemployment rate hovers around a jaw-dropping 32%, but for the youth, it's much, much higher. You have millions of young, brilliant, ambitious people who have done everything right. They've finished school, maybe even gone to university, only to face a dead end. This isn't just a statistic, it's a slow-burning crisis that fuels frustration and despair. It's a breeding ground for social unrest, because when people have nothing to lose, they lose it. This economic exclusion is the foundation upon which so many of our other problems are built. And it gets more basic than that. We're a country where nearly a quarter of our children live in severe food poverty. Kids are going to school on an empty stomach if they can even get to a school that is safe. We still have schools with pit latrines, a danger so profound that it has tragically claimed young lives. When you can't guarantee a child a safe toilet or a basic meal, you're failing at the most fundamental level. This is the reality for too many. It's a daily struggle for survival that leaves little room for dreaming of a brighter future, a struggle shared by millions across all provinces. For years now, trusting the government in South Africa has felt like believing a guy on the street who says he can get you a great deal on a new iPhone. You want to believe him, you really do, but experience has taught you to be skeptical. The trust has been eroded, bit, by years of corruption scandals, state capture, and basic service delivery failures. From the local municipality that can't fix a burst water pipe for weeks, to the national state-owned enterprises like Eskom and Transnet that have been hollowed out, the system has often felt absent or worse, actively working against the people it's meant to serve. This failure is visible everywhere. It's in the crumbling roads, the failing water infrastructure, and the once reliable power grid that has us all experts on load-shedding schedules. Eskom might be showing signs of improvement now, but the scars of years of blackouts run deep, having crippled small businesses and frustrated an entire nation. The crisis in governance isn't abstract, it has real, tangible consequences. It's the reason voter turnout has plummeted from nearly 90% in the early days of democracy to under 60% in the last election. People are losing faith, not in democracy itself, but in the ability of the elected to deliver. This erosion of trust created a massive political shift in the May 2024 elections. For the first time since 1994, the ANC lost its outright majority. The people sent a clear message: the status quo is not working. This led to the formation of a government of national unity, a coalition of 10 different parties who now have to figure out how to work together. It's a historic and uncertain moment. On one hand, there's cautious optimism, especially in the business world, that this new arrangement might force accountability and pragmatism. A multi-party government can't afford to ignore its partners or the people. On the other hand, it's a massive challenge. These parties have deep ideological differences. Can they find common ground to tackle the enormous tasks ahead? Can they restore public confidence? The GNU is on trial. Its success or failure will determine the country's trajectory for the next generation. The people are watching, waiting to see if this new chapter will bring real change, or just more of the same political infighting, while the country's real problems continue to fester. The stakes have never been higher, and the demand for competent, clean governance has never been louder. So here we are, standing at a crossroads. The path behind us is littered with broken promises and deep frustrations. The path ahead is uncertain, but it holds a glimmer of hope. This hope doesn't come from a single political party or a charismatic leader. It comes from the people. It comes from the shared understanding that the old ways of thinking, the divisive narratives that pit us against each other, are a distraction from the real work that needs to be done. The white farmer persecution story, amplified by figures like Donald Trump, is a perfect example of this. It's a sideshow designed to score political points, while the main event is the national crisis of crime affecting everyone. Leaders from across the political spectrum, from President Ramaphosa to the DA's John Steenhuisen, have rightly pushed back against this, insisting that we are all in this together. The real unity government isn't just the coalition in parliament, it's the 60 million South Africans who have to find a way to build a nation that works for all of them. It requires looking at a neighbor who might not look or speak like you, and seeing an ally, not an adversary. It means focusing our collective anger not on each other but on the systems that fail us all. This is the psychological shift we need. The challenges are immense. Rebuilding state institutions, creating millions of jobs, making our streets safe, and tackling endemic corruption is not going to be easy or quick. It will require sacrifice, compromise, and a relentless focus on the common good. The new unity government has a monumental task, and its success will depend on its ability to put the country ahead of party politics. It must prove that a government of rivals can become a government of partners, united by a common purpose, to fix what is broken and build a future that delivers on the promise of 1994. Ultimately, the story of South Africa has always been one of resilience. We've stared into the abyss before and chosen a different path. We have a knack for pulling ourselves back from the brink. The real battle for the soul of the nation is on, and the enemies are clear. They are poverty, crime, and corruption. To defeat them, we need a united front. We need to harness the incredible energy, talent, and spirit of our people. The future is unwritten, and if we choose to write it together, focusing on our shared struggles and common dreams, we can still build the country we all deserve.